My girlfriend makes more than me and is causing division. What do I do? My girlfriend, female, 35, makes $600,000, substantially more than me, male, 39, at $85,000 a year. She's in a career where you need a master's. My career is in a good sector with growth potential, but hard to match hers unless I also get a master's. I work two jobs and both are at nonprofits, so the pay is less than the for profit side. She didn't pay for school, so no debt or loans. We both have a lot of savings. Background: she wants to keep financials separate when we get married. I get people will keep money earned before marriage separate and inheritance separate, but I always thought money earned during marriage is joint and that marriage is coming together of everything. That's how I was brought up and my expectations. However, I'm willing to go along with her wishes and set up a joint account. But even before marriage, it's frustrating and I'm not sure if I want to live my life that way. She is frugal to the point of it being a character defect. I am more relaxed and on the mindset that money comes and money goes. Enjoy life. I think if I have to put in 100% of my income to a joint account, it's unfair to her to get to put in 20% and save the rest. I said if I make more or if we switch places, I'd contribute more, but she says that's easy to say and that it wouldn't be true if it actually happened, whatever that means. So, the situation. Normally, when joint income is so high, it's a blessing, I would think, but it's causing a lot of frictions and resentment. Here are some examples. I hope these examples help explain the situation since I've had a hard time writing this post. 1. I want two kids, and she says I don't make enough for one kid and that I can't afford to live, let alone raise a child. She keeps referring to it as being able to afford my kid versus our hypothetical kid. 2. I save maybe 20% of my income, and some months I break even, but I am still told I shouldn't go to Chipotle for lunch or even use too many paper towels because they are expensive. She also gets really mad when I tip. She puts in $1 for a taxi, and I put in 15%. I used to work for tips as a summer job, so it's important. 3. She is very against the man making less, that she wants to split everything 50-50. So what I put in, she puts in, not a penny more as a way to hammer home this feeling. 4. She keeps saying I need to look for higher paying jobs, and I should apply to hundreds a day like the house is on fire. I do apply just as I have time. I have a weekday job at a nonprofit as well as a weekend job. My therapist says I have quality, respectful employment and should be proud of what I do. Plus, I work two jobs, so I'm not sitting around being lazy. She said the man should be the provider. 5. She wants to buy the house so it's in her name and not both of our names, and I pay the taxes. But in this scenario, I'm not building any equity. When I suggest splitting the mortgage 50-50 and both being on the deed, she says she wants to buy a $1 million house that is out of my price range, which is about $700,000. When I bring up the $700K house, she says she refuses to live in a, quote, poor area. So then the only option is to each own different percentages of the house, 60-40. I pay 40% of the mortgage and she pays 60. But she says that isn't fair to her because she's taking more risk. But I said you also get more of the upside by owning 60%, or whatever the split ends up being when we sell it. It's like you invest more in the asset and you get more ROI when it sells. So the house thing is a standoff. Now, the root of the problem. The income difference is the real point of resentment for her, and she uses terms like, quote, I refuse to be the breadwinner. I said that couples I know where both partners work, it is never the same income. Unless you have the same job at the same company with the same benefits, it will be different. For example, my job puts 10% of my salary into a 401(b) and I have great insurance. Her job makes a lot more, but benefits are less. I feel emasculated and worthless, and like my jobs don't matter. There is more to marriage than money. Who cooks? Who takes care of the kids? Who does other stuff around the house? How can a marriage be defined by the take-home pay? I know people who are miserable and work all the time, and it's toxic. But perhaps to her point, I'm not making enough in this world of high cost of living. We also live in a high cost blue state. I should make more, and I am applying to 125K pay range jobs, but happy to do it slowly and not rush out of a job I like. Some other context. She also thinks she is poor, and her parents are the same way, even though they are very well off and have $10+ million. They will take all the napkins and plastic forks from a restaurant and all the sugar packets from a diner. Or if there is cream and half, they will bring cups and take it all, just to save money on sugar, napkins, and stuff.
No way.
They're being intentional on spending and cost conscious, but also frugal to the point of concern. People can exist at both ends of the spectrum. I feel like they think they are poor, like anorexic people think they are fat. I want to have kids and figure out the costs as we go. I mean, college isn't for 20 years. Should I adapt to her ultra frugality and try to make more money, or is this relationship something that isn't going to work due to the income difference? Like I said though, it would be a blessing if joint income is so high. Instead, it is just a cluster of fighting, anger, and resentment on all sides. We are seeing a couples therapist for the first time today, so any advice on what to bring up? Is this all a control thing? Thank you for your advice.
Would I be the asshole to divorce my wife after she said she wanted to send our son to a conversion camp? So this is a pretty heavy situation, and I'm really confused and disgusted, not gonna lie, because I've never thought my wife was like this. My wife, 44 female, and I, 45 male, have been married for 14 years. We have 2 kids, a 16-year-old son, let's call him Noah, and a 12-year-old daughter. We've had our fair share of disagreements over the years, of course, but things have been generally smooth between us. Now for the context, Noah came out as gay about a year ago. It was a surprise, and as hard as it was to accept, I love my kids more than anything and I just want their happiness. My wife visibly didn't take it well though. She was upset and she seemed to go through a grieving period where she didn't really talk about it. I tried to support Noah in every way I could, telling him that I loved him no matter what, etc. My wife though, I could tell she wasn't on the same page. She would say things like, "This is just a phase," or "he needs help." But I brushed it off as her needing time. Fast forward to last week, we were having a conversation about Noah's future. Out of nowhere, my wife casually mentions that she's been looking into conversion therapy camps and thinks it might be the right solution. She says that Noah isn't really gay and that he just hasn't been shown the right path, and that this could fix him. My blood ran cold, obviously. I was in shock. I immediately told her I didn't agree and that it was not something I could support. She got upset and said that I was enabling Noah's confusion and that if I really cared about him, I would help him get better. What the fuck is wrong with her? She was persistent, and no matter how much I tried to explain that conversion therapy is harmful, like I know those kids get abused and often end up either traumatized or ending themselves, and that I would never send our son to something like that. She wouldn't back down. If I'm being 100% honest, I don't even think I love her anymore. The fact that she could be so heartless disgusts me. I know being gay is not easy, and people like her just make it even harder. I'm considering staying, only for our daughter's sake, but would it be okay if it means hurting my son? It feels like a betrayal to Noah. I just don't think I can keep living with someone who thinks this is okay. Not the asshole, 100%. Noah is not broken. There's nothing to fix. Those conversion camps are hell on earth, and any parent who wants to send their child to one doesn't deserve to be a parent. Make sure you include it in the conditions of custody that it is absolutely not permitted. Depending on where you're located, it might even be grounds to go full custody. Buckle up, OP. Your fight for your children's rights and well-being is just beginning. And then update. So first of all, I'd like to thank everyone here for all the help and advice I've gotten under my post and in DMs. Sorry if I couldn't answer to everyone. It's just been too many people. So I posted something about my wife wanting me to send my son to conversion camp 2 days ago. First of all, some people told me to show her videos and documentaries about what happens there, but this argument has been ongoing for more than a week now. I've showed her things and she won't budge. Really bad update, if I can be honest, so let's get into it. All of you told me to try to get him out ASAP. Y'all were definitely right. So yesterday I took the day off and I went to see an attorney just to get some info about divorce, etc. But after what happened, I'm 100% sure I want a divorce as soon as possible. Yesterday I went to pick up Noah at school, and as many of you suggested, we had a long discussion. I basically told him his mom and I may be getting a divorce because she wants to send him to a conversion camp, but I can't accept that. I've talked with her many times and I told him I'll probably go through with it. He looked really hurt. My heart broke all over again, but was very understanding and thanked me for standing up for him. I pulled him into a tight hug and I told him I'll always love him no matter what and that nothing is his fault. At that moment, he started crying because he was so glad at least I was on his side, and I'm very pissed. So sorry if I don't make sense, but apparently his mom has been pressuring him for months. She planned dates with girls to try and fix him. He had to lie by saying he was going at a friend's instead. She was saying he needs help, and as much as she loves him, he needs to get his condition cured. I feel so bad because I've been oblivious to all of that, and I failed to protect him for all that time. How do you make your 16-year-old son go through that? So when we got home yesterday, I can't lie, I was furious and I confronted her right then and there. At first she was trying to explain she was doing it for him, but her speech quickly turned to slurs, and it was clear that she was just ashamed of having a gay son. In the end, I told her I went to see an attorney, and that learning all of that just confirmed I wanted a divorce. She got angry and called me a delusional disgrace. We argued a lot, and at some point Noah tried to separate us, but my wife punched him multiple times. She was saying disgusting things like that he is a dirty F word and that it's all his fault we're getting divorced because his filth corrupted me. My daughter, who was probably in her room, came to see what all the commotion was about and was rightfully horrified and quickly called 911 when I told her to. Long story short, the cops got there and took her away. She was reluctant to go because she was not in the wrong and they needed to let her go. I explained everything to my daughter, and she doesn't want anything to do with her mom anymore. Right now I'm in the hospital because my soon-to-be ex-wife broke my rib while I was restraining her. I should have probably went as soon as the cops took her, but I don't care. My son was crying with a black eye and a split lip. They're checking for any concussions, and obviously the only thing I cared about was to comfort him because I can't even imagine what it feels like to be beaten by your mom for being gay. I'm planning to file for custody, of course, and my kids don't want to see her ever again. Given all the charges she's facing, I hope she won't stand a chance against me. I just sent mail to my attorney, and I hope the procedure will be fast. I've also thought of getting CPS involved, but I'm not sure they will really help. Like, I cannot understand how you can have grown so resentful of your own kid because of something they can't control. Even I had pretty strong opinions about it, but as a father, it is my role to unconditionally love my kids, and so I learned about the topic, and I changed my way of seeing the world for him. It took some time grasping it, but I never doubted 1 second the love that I have for my child. I thought it was the same for my wife. Visibly not.
Am I the asshole for trying to convince my wife to keep her mom away from us because she wants us to swap kids with her other daughter?
Oh.
Twins run in both of our families. We actually met at a twin festival in Ohio. My brother and I did not marry twin sisters or even sisters from the same family, but my wife does have a twin, and her sister had twins, as did we. We have twin boys that are about 6 months older than their female cousins. It makes for some very cute pictures. My mother-in-law might be insane. She is trying to convince her daughters to trade, like a boy for a girl, so each girl can have a brother, I guess. I think it is the craziest thing I've ever heard. My wife also agrees, but won't tell her mom to drop it. My sister-in-law and her husband are on my side. It isn't something that any of us are entertaining. At first, I thought she was just making a joke. No such luck. She is seriously proposing this. The thing that might make me an asshole isn't turning down this whack job. It's telling my wife it might be a good idea to distance ourselves from her mom. My wife loves her mom and her foibles. She says it's just the way she is. But I don't want my kids around someone so unstable that they think this is a normal thing to suggest. So, am I the asshole?
That's insane. I would never leave my children alone with this woman. Ever, Infinity.
Yeah.
Ever.
It's giving kidnap.
It's giving
kidnap.